series. This entire year, the series is entitled 366 because it's a leap year, and I'm looking to share insights, wisdom, and actionable behaviors that will align you within. Today, specifically, I want to talk about going to the next level because as you grow, change, and evolve, what you're doing will need to change as well. So, the next level is really about building strength. Let's just say you had over 100 videos to choose from that have lots of different actionable items. But now let's say you've implemented a lot of good action items, but you want to go to the next level. So I'm going to give you 5 different aspects in which I think are imperative to going to the next level. And I'm going to start with the easiest one first. So the first one is that you will want to have a period of time in your day that you use to reflect on the day. What went well? What didn't go well? What needs to be adjusted? What did you learn? What are you grateful for? Just a period of time in which you are reflecting. So when that happens in your day, it does not matter. But what does matter is that you're doing it every single day. Why is that important? Because it's important because we need to grow and evolve. And if we're not taking time to reflect, we don't know what we need to adjust and change. That's one piece. Another piece is that you cannot increase your awareness without consciousness, without consciously going through the day. Most of the time, people are doing reflection over things that are painful for them. But those pain points are usually based on patterns. How do we know what the patterns are if you're not even aware? So reflection is huge, whether you do it at night before you go to sleep, or whether you do it in the morning when you wake up, or you do it during your lunchtime. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that you have a series of reflection points, whether it's a standard series of questions that you decide to ask yourself, or ways in which you want to reflect on your day. Those might change as you change and grow too. But what doesn't change is that you are always taking time to be aware. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, meditation. If you're not already incorporating some type of meditation, 5 or 10 minutes, then you'll want to do that. That would be your next level. Let's just say you have some type of meditation and it should start to extend in duration. So if you're doing 5 or 10 minutes, you'll want to get to 20-minute increments. You don't need to do a full hour, but you want to get to at least 20 minutes because the energy fluctuations change from 5 minutes to 20 minutes. Everything changes in your body with more stillness. So you'll want to get to increments. Now, let's just say you're already at 20 minutes. So then I would say do 2 sets of 20 minutes increments, maybe one in the morning and one at night, and see what you notice. Do it for a period of time. Meditation should not be dependent on these audio files that people are using, like these calm apps, which I think are good, but people are becoming dependent on them. You don't want your meditation practice to be dependent on any one person, any one voice, any one aspect. You want to make sure you're varying your meditations so that you are self-sustaining, that you could be within your own self, and stillness is what I teach my clients. I don't teach any of my clients to go to any meditation practice outside of themselves, whether it's breathing or just sitting in stillness and doing mantras, whatever it is. I personally learned meditation before there was apps. It wasn't easy, but it's a training, and you want to be able to be the voice of reason that you need for yourself. You don't ever want to rely on or be dependent on others for you to get there. Now, there are some professionals that provide courses and you do a series, and you may like those, and I get it. but you don't want to be dependent. So see if you have an attachment to those. So that's what I would recommend as far as meditation. Number three is ego work. And most people, there's not a lot of data out there on ego work. And I could speculate as to why that is. I personally only teach it and talk to my clients about ego work um, when they're further along because it's so divisive, you know. We have been programmed and conditioned so intensely that most of us don't have a conscious awareness of when our ego is even being activated, whether we're triggered from lower ego or higher ego. There's really, most people don't have a delineation of the ego. But there is a higher ego and a lower ego. And you don't need to understand the ego. You just need to be able to identify when it's activated. So let's just say your insecurities are activated and you're feeling insecure, maybe a little nervous. What you would want to say is, "Oh, that's my ego." You want to identify the ego and then you want to disidentify with it. I am not my ego. I am not those thoughts. I am in alignment with my heart, source energy, creator, God. Whatever you are in alignment with that you want to affirm, that's how you do ego work. It's an identification, a disidentification, uh, a realignment of who you are and what you are within the heart space. It's really not complicated except for when the mind is involved. And as you could see, when you're having an insecurity, you might be more sensitive, you might be more defensive. Ego defensive is a huge thing. Ego tantrums are a thing. I should do a video on ego tantrums. They're a thing. It's very challenging to do ego work. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of practice. So if you're saying that you're identifying, disidentifying, and realigning all day long, that just tells you how active your ego mind is or how unaware you are that your ego is at play. The more that you do ego work, like some people get really frustrated with the ego work and they don't want to do it, they just want it to go away. But it's a lifelong practice. The ego mind is intended to be a tool and not a weapon, but it's been imbalanced for most, excuse me, it's been imbalanced for most of humanity. So you want to start to adjust and create more of an equilibrium so you can be in a space of neutrality to where you're not triggered, you're not identifying with these thoughts, you're not making them who you are. You understand who you are in alignment with your heart, and life is so much better and easier. Being on that path is somewhat challenging to do that work, but it's important. The fourth aspect I want to mention is food. Now, I know you believe probably that you are eating healthy. I know I thought I was eating healthy until I learned otherwise. And so, what I would just ask you to look at is, are you eating and feeding your body nutrition that is in alignment with the natural laws and that is in alignment with your body and your intuition? Or are you eating foods that you were told were good for you? Are you eating foods that you crave? Because those are going to shift how your body is in alignment. Okay. So you want to look at how you're taking in nutrition. So, for example, me, I thought I was eating healthy, even though my body was not actually taking in the nutrients from the food I was eating. So I was malnourished, but I thought I was eating healthy. My test said malnourished, but I thought I was eating healthy. My thinking and my results, my reality were not congruent. Okay. So you really want to check your thinking. And that's why the ego work is so important, because we think we're doing things that are in alignment, and the thinking is not alignment, which is why you do your ego work. If you think you are eating healthy, that's the wrong answer. That means you need to disidentify from the ego, and you want to know you're eating healthy. How do you know you're eating healthy? Because your body is responding differently. You have vitality, you have energy, you're able to do exercises without any strain, you're able to do the requirements of life and then some and feel invigorated. That's how you know that you're in alignment. Okay. So the fifth aspect for going to the next level is simple: adjust, adjust, adjust. When you're on the path of being congruent and being in sync, it requires numerous adjustments. There is no there. So stop thinking you're going to get there. There is no there. You are there. It's here. It's always going to be in the moment in which you are totally present. Okay. And I know that can be so frustrating because we are so focused on results, and I can totally relate to that, which is why it's important to adjust, adjust, adjust. If you are not measuring anything, how do you know that you're making progress? If you're not reflecting, how do you know that you're making progress? You don't. You just think you are. So don't think you are, know you are. That's really the distinction between alignment. Is when you are in alignment, it's a feeling, it's a sense, it's a knowingness that you have that's really strong within yourself. This is also where confidence comes from. Confidence does not come from thinking about things. It doesn't come from you thinking that you're confident. Confidence doesn't come from overinflated ego. Confidence doesn't come from even massive success. Confidence comes from a state of knowingness. This knowingness helps to have a sense of focus and clarity of what you're doing. That comes from the first part that I suggested, which is this time of reflection. That's also why I suggested doing an alignment sheet, because a lot of people have so many things. Life is so busy that you don't know, you have so many moving parts, and you're focusing on your kids, and you're focusing on your husband or your partner and work, and all these things are going on. An alignment tracking sheet is a great resource. If you don't like that, there are a ton of apps. The key is that you have actionable items that keep you moving in the right direction. That is how you know you need to address an adjustment, where it needs to be adjusted, how long, and you start to adjust and change. So the final step to the next level is adjust, adjust, adjust. You must know the direction you want to go and see if what you are doing is putting you in that direction. Don't rely on your thinking thoughts, rely on your knowing. Start to practice getting out of your head and into your knowing. That's how you know you're at the next level. You don't know you're at the next level because somebody tells you, oh, you're next level. That means nothing. It absolutely means nothing to your reality except to your ego mind that likes somebody authorizing and acknowledging you. But when you are confident in who you are, you don't need those things. It's a nice to have, not a need to have. So start to really learn to understand that your next level is going to be different than somebody else's next level, and so on and so forth. Nothing is prescriptive except for that most people who are on the path to success and building strength are following key tenets in which bring that. So you want to integrate these key elements into your repertoire so you can develop inner strength. Cheers to being in sync. I am Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Hope you found this helpful. Bye.